right. Well, we're going to officially launch our elevation call this evening. Thank you guys for being here on Easter Sunday, which is a very special night, special day for all of us, for all families, for all believers, just an amazing holiday. And so I wanted to kind of start the call by just saying thank you guys for being here. Also, I wanted just to kind of get a little bit of the housekeeping out of the way before we kind of jump into the content. We know that there's been a lot going on this week with Project 500. This is our team training call. It's if you will, it's kind of the meeting of the minds with Team Unlimited. And we have two resources that we want to make sure that everyone is aware of. First, we archive these YouTube calls on Team Unlimited on YouTube.
Zoom calls on YouTube.
The Zoom calls, yeah. And so if you have not subscribed to that Team Unlimited YouTube channel, please do. You'll be notified every time we add another call like the one tonight. And also please duplicate that in your team. In addition to that, we have a podcast. So Nate actually uploads the Zooms to both YouTube and also a podcast. So for those of you who travel or on Spotify, you can actually access the information faster in some ways. And that's Team Unlimited Live. So make sure that you subscribe. You can do that through Spotify or Apple Podcasts. So I want to make sure that everybody knows that. Subscribe. That's hugely helpful to us.
Tell your team about it.
Because then that way you'll just be notified and you don't have to ask us. If you, for some reason, can't make one of these calls, which, we understand life happens for everyone, then you can actually just listen to the recording. It's usually posted 2 days later. In addition to that, there's two extra trainings that I want to make sure that everyone is familiar with. This is just for you to listen to on your own. Hal and I started a Foundations and Fundamentals podcast, if you will. And this is really to help bring people up to speed on basics in the business. And we have two of those so far. One of them is a podcast on the pipeline, which is a very basic concept of what every single business in the world does to generate volume and sales. And it's really just an explanation of a Tim sales video as well. But that one is a podcast, Foundations and Fundamentals #1. And then tonight, I'm going to actually post the second one is Foundations and Fundamentals. It's a YouTube video that Hal actually did a whiteboard training that was excellent on how to get paid every Friday and how to help your team get paid every Friday. It's the binary.
And to focus on getting paid every Friday. And I got that straight from Stephen Thompson and Jenny Lusby. Jenny, the way Jenny says it is we should all be focusing on getting paid weekly. And so the way I say it is, the way to build this business is to commit to yourself that you want to get paid every Friday and help every person on your team who wants and is willing to work for it to get paid on Friday. Once that happens, you have something in place for yourself that will build everything else without a whole lot of detail and attention to all the details of the comp plan. So I think it's a decent training. It's been well received in live conversations, as well as when we were in Florida, we did a small training on it there. So it is posted, and I do use a whiteboard on the Zoom. And so hopefully you can follow that.
Yes, it makes a lot of sense. And so in addition to that, I want to go ahead and talk about the top 25. You want to tell us?
Yeah, I love talking about the top 25.
Just to kind of set it up, top 25, many of you guys know that if you go to reports, leaderboard, you'll see one of the most important biomarkers of how fast that you're moving in the business is getting on that leaderboard.
Isn't that cool?
It is cool.
It's cool. I love, and I love how Lisa says biomarkers.
Biomarker.
That's a medical term.
So by that, I mean, it's putting your pulse, your finger on the pulse.
Once again, medical term.
I'm a medical term person, but we are always just wanting to give shout outs. It takes a lot of consistent effort to be on leaderboard.
And so, we've done this now consistently week after week after week. And it was really very encouraging. And I said, yay for our team and yay for us when Stephen Thompson the other night in the Project 500 meeting or training mentorship, he said, you guys need to recognize people who are doing this. I mean, if you're a leader and you're not recognizing your people who are doing this work, you need to be recognizing them. So, we've done it without really being told to, because we so are excited about it. So we do it every week. And so the top 25 for enrollers for the month of April. And here we are in what is today? The 4th?
April 4th.
So we have 4 people on the leaderboard. And at number 25 is Laura McClendon in Texas. Now, Laura is making a regular habit of not only being on the leaderboard, but staying on the leaderboard month after month after month. And they literally start all over the first day of the month. So if you're on the leaderboard every month, that means that you are enrolling people every single month. And so Laura McClendon, again, at number 25. Kind of a new person on the leaderboard out of Kentucky. Someone we have a lot of, I don't know if the word expectation is for, but if she turns the success she's had in her everyday life into the success with Zalise, she's going to tear this thing up. And that's Patty Bugg in Kentucky at number 9. So Patty, welcome to the leaderboard. We expect great things just to see you there, continue to, and to help your team do the same thing. Then another brand new person to the leaderboard, pretty new to our business, is Dr. Luann Van Loo in New Jersey under Dr. Balaji. She's number 7. So way up in New Jersey, guys, where there's just not a whole lot of support from Zalise right now, is Dr. Luann Van Loo. And she's on this call almost every week now. And so anyway, and then brand new, literally brand new to the team, just in the last couple of, since I think the 27th of March, Jason Smith out of Tyler, Texas. And Jason actually was number 1 and someone's bumped him out, but he's number 2 right now and sponsored under Bethany and Laura McClendon down in the Tyler area. So anyway,
Well, thank you for
congratulations, everybody.
And
great job.
Because we're starting a new month, this is the white zone. And so Hal, tell us what we're doing in the white zone.
So the white zone is a focus in the first 10 days of the month on showing the plan. The white zone is showing the plan, you showing the plan. And so the way you get to show the plan is you have to have names to call, people you're meeting, and setting up meetings with them to show them the Zalise opportunity, the overview. Stephen Thompson considers it no plan at all, no presentation, not showing the plan, if you do not show the business opportunity, the transfer of wealth, the whole package. It can be stated in different ways, but basically white zone is to add to your names list, build your leads list, working really hard to build into the funnel of people and going out and making appointments and showing the business plan to your prospects and your team's prospects, but mostly yours in the first 10 days of the month. That's what it's all about.
And I wanted to recognize one of our
not
cool. So new
this
team
is
members.
Really cool right here.
But this is a team member who started, and I'm going to bring her on the line. She's got an amazing story. And Julia Baker was really introduced to me by somebody else. And that was in my previous business and kind of another lifetime. But she was super sharp. She was actually in a healthcare background, and that she was fitting people for diabetic shoes. And little did we know the journey that we would be on actually very soon after I met her. And she was a real pivotal person for me in my personal life. And the story is so interesting. I'm going to have Julia Baker unmute herself, because some of you guys who were at the launch meeting with Stephen at the Evansville Country Club heard her live tell her Zalise story. There's a lot more to it, but when I think about one of the people who have changed my life and her story, because she was actually, I was not the person to introduce her to Zalise. Julia, who introduced you to Zalise back in the day?
My ex-husband. Yeah.
So tell us just a little bit about your Zalise story. Why and how were you introduced?
Well, I was diagnosed with cancer. Do you still see me?
Yeah,
Yes.
we see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
My battery's low, so I'm out in the car because I'm at my son and daughter-in-law's house for Easter dinner. So that's why I'm in the car. Thank you. It's this Lachey. So anyway, yeah, I had cancer and I was diagnosed with bone cancer, and I was really hurting. and I had no energy because they had put me on an oral chemo, which was on 3 weeks and then off 1. Well, it's not good stuff. It makes you hurt and it makes you tired. Main side effects. Okay. So anyway, I tried it, and you forget what stuff does to you. And Lisa had kept a phone call from me that I had been using it 6 days, literally 6 days. And the 6th day I woke up and I didn't hurt when I got out of bed for the first time in months. And in fact, I that week I ended up hiking 10 miles accidentally because we got lost, and walking 4 miles and working out in the yard. I mean, it was like, oh my gosh, I have my life back. I just was like so thankful. So I called Lisa, and I left a voice message because I didn't get right to her. And I just told her, and emotions got high, and I started to cry a little bit. And I said, I just want to let you know, thank you, because you gave me my life back. And my kids saw it. In fact, I pulled up a testimonial that Joelle, my daughter, had written about how getting her mom back, and that people should look into this. So Lisa's a smart woman. She actually had that video and sent it back to me. And I was like, wow, I do remember that. And so got off of it. We all get lazy, or we get, think, oh, other stuff, whatever your reason is. If you know somebody's got off of it, do not be afraid to talk to them again, because we've all done it, probably got off a while and then got back on, and now I'm back on, and it's like I have my zeal for life again. The biggest difference this time is I've made some major changes in my life, and gotten rid of some negativity that was pulling me down. And if you have that in your life, I urge you to really talk to God, and he will tell you what to do. And every day I say, God, I trust you. Okay, I trust you. I don't know, but I'm going to do this. And that's what it came down to. And something resonated with me. I told Lisa the difference this time is in my gut. I since then had gotten on disability, because being a terminal cancer, that puts you on there. Plus I have a dependent, I have a 17-year-old. And then of course you get kind of stuck, because I have lots and lots of treatments, and they put me on Medicaid. And I am making this public, and I can't believe I'm making this public, because I've always felt embarrassed about this, because I never thought any time in my life that I would ever be on welfare, Medicaid and Medicare. But to do the treatments, the medicine I'm on is $4,000 a month. I don't want to be on that medicine. But I told Lisa that I want to get off Medicaid, because you can't earn any money. You can't work. And I feel good, and I want to share this with other people, and I want other people to feel like I do. But when I went to I committed to the 500, Project 500, and I listened to Stephen on the call, and something he said really resonated with me, is that you just have to do the action. And it's the first time he laid out an actual game plan, and not just a game plan that you hear, a printed one that you can keep track. And all I have to do is just keep track, just do what I said I'm going to do. If I had a job and they told me to go clean toilets, because that was part of my job, I do it. Why don't we do this the same way? We piddle with it. We think, oh, it's not really a job. Well, if you're going to treat it that way, then it's a hobby. And I don't want hobbies anymore. I want life. And so when he said that, and he told me about him burning all his bridges, and maybe some of you have done that, been in other networking businesses, and all my family was underneath my ex-husband. So I didn't have family, which isn't necessarily bad. But I also had burnt through a lot of people, but I didn't approach it the same. I approached it simply, try this product, it's going to make you feel better. I didn't approach it. You need to look at this business, because all I want to know is, let me show this to you. And then when I'm done, in fact, I did my chicken list yesterday. I have an ex-sister-in-law, sort of. Anyway, we've become good friends, and she's a doctor of education. So she's very smart, very talented, and never has ever wanted to do a networking business. And I just looked at her. I said, do you trust me? And she goes, of course. And I said, you know, I'm your friend, right? And you know that my heart is pure, and I'm not trying to talk you. I'm not giving you a sales pitch. And and you would support me in something that would help me move forward, right? And she said, yes. Why are you asking all these things? And I said, because I am going to do this networking business, and I need to practice on you, and I want to feel safe when I do it. And she said, of course. And you know what? When I was telling her, all I did was print out the sheets. My first one, I was so proud of myself, because she was my chicken list. I'd never talked to her about it. I told her, I went through the printed sheets, and she was asking questions. And she's now going to try the product and get her son on it, who's on the autistic scale. But the biggest thing is at the end, and this is what Steven said in that Project 500, is he said, my goal was to get another person to talk to. And so I looked at her, I said, okay, when I was doing this, who's the first person that popped in your mind? And she gave me, well, her niece who has MS. And then she said, and three of my five sisters, she has five sisters, three of my five sisters just retired, and they might be interested in something like this. I was like, perfect. Okay, that's what I need. So in the last 2 days, because I've made the decision, just like Steven said he did, that I'm going to do it. I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to do it. And God's in charge. In the last 3 days, I have 4 orders, and I haven't done the second interview, but I have 2 people that has said to call on Monday, and will set up a time for me to do a Zoom and do the presentation. I'm like, oh. And one of them was the person I talked to today, that I gave her some of the ice.
Yeah.
And she's definitely not in the business, but she said, hey, I am willing to take this, and she may become a preferred customer.
That is so well. Let me ask you a question, Julia. You said that you showed her the sheet. So what did you actually show her? Just to be
Which
clear.
one? Yesterday when I did
presentation that you did.
Okay.
Yeah, yesterday.
The printout of the presentation, the slideshow.
Yeah. Okay. So you actually made a paper copy of the PowerPoint, which is cool, because it gives you the ability to do it low tech. Anyone can print those out, and you just kind of showed her what that looked like, correct?
Yep.
What a great idea.
Look at that.
There it is, part of it.
Okay.
No high tech here, just did it. I had to do it. It's like, I wasn't going to look for everything to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. So I just got on and my printer had even cut some of the pages off. I said, oh, I'm sorry about this, but this is supposed to say, if you look too perfect, I think sometimes they look at you as a salesperson too. Just be genuine. And that's what I told her. I said, I'm just telling you from my heart. And I asked her, I said, have you seen a difference? And she said, yes. And I asked her about my face, and she goes, well, your face is looking really good these days. I said, well, I've been using the Lachey.
You're the whole package.
Yeah, I'm the whole package, right? Trying to be.
We were so proud. How you had
I had 2 things that I wanted to say. So I wrote in my notes and underlined a word in Steven's training the other night. And it's not new, but when I heard it, I thought, I hope some people hear that word. And you actually said it today.
Okay.
And it's a 3-letter word. It's the word the, or the, however you want to say it. So here's what I heard you say, literally, straight up. I made the decision.
Exactly.
So a lot of people have made a decision.
Not the same.
A lot of people have made some decisions.
Right.
But I will tell you, it is very different when you make the decision that you're going to do this and you're going to do
Yeah.
everything it takes to do it. It's huge.
Right.
And you said the words exactly. The second thing I want to say to all of us is this: the message of Zalise, the opportunity, the outcomes for health, all of that. That's our message. Pay it forward, company. Wrap it all up in a beautiful Easter basket, whatever you want to do. I will say this: the message of Zalise is not designed to carry itself. It requires us to carry the message, period.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. And if we are not showing the plan and calling people to hear the message, we are not ambassadors of the message.
Right.
We got a great deal. And some of us even got our Jeeps. And some of us are getting paid. But I'm just saying that the message of Zalise will not carry itself. It is it's part of an ambassador's decision, the decision to carry the message. So thank you. And this is a beautiful example.
It's a beautiful example. And Julia, I just I keep your phone message just because of the inspiration when you shared with me, you know, the impact that this made on your life, you know, living through chemo. I will always keep that message because I know that our job is not done.
No.
Until we have created an army of users and people who are sharing the message. And you called me really excited. I was so proud that you said I did my first presentation.
I heard it in the other room.
Magical
I heard it in
words.
the other room, and I got a whoop whoop from the other room.
And so what one woman or man can do, all of us can do. And if you can do one presentation, you can do 100. And so you are on your path. And we just are so inspired by your example. So thank you for sharing.
Thanks. I feel privileged with this second chance myself. I mean, because, you know, you don't always get the second chance. And I feel like I've gotten the second chance now. All because of Christina Brown, because I saw her before and after picture. And that's why I called you.
Wow. Look at that. Guys, just look at the story keeps building.
Thank you
Somebody
so much,
the message.
Christina Brown.
That's right.
And that's, you guys, one of the beauties of having our group come together is that we can inspire each other. We have the Team Unlimited platform. We have this call. And I love assembling. I just want to bring our people together because we have such a common bond. And thank you so much, Julia, for being part of our team, for your courage in presenting this and also doing it low tech.
And thank you for interrupting your family dinner to join us and share tonight. So
with no
fine. I'm going to bow out because they are putting their kids, their little ones to bed.
Go.
It's recorded, right?
Absolutely. We're recording you.
Last thing. I know last thing. The other big thing is I listen to these things every meeting. I didn't do that before. I know it seems like it's the same thing, but you got to keep feeding yourself or you let the world get in.
That's so true. Right. Good advice, Julia.
Thank you. Thanks, Julia.
Okay. Enjoy your family. Thank you for being on.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
No,
okay.
Great.
Bye-bye.
Beautiful. And so you guys just, I hope you have a story like Julia's, you know, of somebody who really you've dramatically changed their life with this product, with this opportunity. And I tell you, some of the people who have done that the most, you guys might not even know because they really don't say a lot.
And I hope you heard what she said about making the decision. I hope that you've made the decision. And sometimes, and we have to make it over and over again. But when you've made the decision that you're going to do this, it's settled. You're going to do it. And you're going to do whatever it takes. So anyway, and to share that with other people. So.
Well, and you guys, we're going to keep this call brief, but we wanted to talk about something really important. Julia very much inspired me. She's been given new life. And she would tell you guys that she started with a breast cancer diagnosis. And then I remember when she got that very bad news that it was in her bones. And she's now almost 4 years survival on CBD. And so it's like less than 20% of people really make that point. And she's just completely unfazed and very focused on achieving so much. it's like she has new life again in the business and in her own life. And on Easter, you guys, it's such a beautiful day to really talk about that, to talk about what drives you, what is your big goal. And no matter where we've been in the last, 5 years, at least 5 years in pioneering, marked by the pandemic, now we all have new life with this Project 500. Whether or not you want to engage with that, you have a platform. What is your main goal in life? What is your Zalise goal? And what kind of faith level do you have to see that completed? And I wanted to share with you guys one of my very favorite books, and you'll hear me talk about it a lot. It's called The Optimist Creed. And this is actually by Christian Larson. And Hal and I actually start, after we do our Pilates, we actually read usually a whole page or two.
First thing in the morning.
First thing in the morning. And one of the things I love about this book, if you have not read it, and if you've not heard the Optimist Creed, you want to just Google it. It is the most powerful creed to say. And I know some of you guys are actually members of the Optimist Club. They use that as their creed. But what I love about what he says in page 143, this is a chapter that says the faith that moves mountains. And I just want to read you a couple of the beautiful words that we just inspire ourselves by reading amazing works from some people who aren't even alive anymore. But he says, faith does not always produce the expected miracle at once. It does not always convert a life of confusion, sickness, and failure into a life of happiness, harmony, and abundance without much waiting and watching and prayer. It does not always change a pathway of thorns into one of roses the very first day we begin to live by faith. There are times when it requires months and even years of constant faith to realize what we pray for. Whoever fixes his attention upon a certain definite goal and continues to work toward that goal in faith will positively reach it. And then he goes on to say, when faith seems to fail, the remedy is more faith. Do not become discouraged in the midst of seeming failure. Do not give up the purpose you have undertaken to fulfill. Do not doubt the possibilities of this purpose, nor come to the conclusion you are moving in the wrong direction. Continue to work in more and more faith. And if you should be on the wrong path, something will happen to set you right. When a person begins to live in faith, all things that come into his life are looked upon as opportunities, and they are. No obstacle should ever be called by that name or ever thought of as being an obstacle, for it is, in truth, something that will enable you to prove to yourself that the power that is within you is greater than anything in the world. Whenever we meet, whatever we meet, will be turned into good account and will call forth more and more of the greater power that is within us. Accordingly, all things will work together for greater good. Proceed in the faith that there is something within us that is greater than all the obstacles in the world. And faith is that attitude of mind through which we come into conscious touch with the infinite. Continue to say, I have the faith, and repeat that statement as frequently as possible. And so on Easter, which for Christians is the most amazing event that we experience, my question to you is, how is your faith?
That was good. Amen.
Amen.
So we're gonna, as we come to wrap this up tonight, for us this week, this coming week, and our guest next week, which we do have a guest going to be on next week, which will be very special. You will not want to miss this. If you have people on your team that you need to get invited, this is not, it won't be so much an X's and O's next week, guys. It's going to be a very special heart message. And so we have a special person who's going to be on. So, but in the coming week, I'm going to ask you to prepare for next Sunday night yourself. I'm going to ask you to spend this week and make a point this week to think about where your heart is in this business, where you are in this business. What do you want to see happen, not just for you, but the people in the world around you? How much does it matter to your heart? Not this that you earn the rank and you earn the money, but what's the reason behind it all? What's the reason that you would do this? And for some people, it is financial, got to have it. This is generally not the kind of business that financial focus as your primary purpose is going to be long-term success. It's a heart issue. The other part of it, very, very important, and this is what I also want you to think about, is where is your head? What are you thinking? I really want you to pay attention this week about how you think and what you're thinking about. I want you to listen to your words. I want you to pay attention to your thoughts. Listen to yourself and what you're thinking. Very, very important. And then I'm going to take just a minute and share with all of you that about Lisa and I. We have said many times that Zalise brought us together. Y'all have heard our story so many times. Some of you kind of gag on it, you know. Honestly, our love story, which we love to tell. And we often say in our meetings that Zalise brought us together, and that's really true. It was through Zalise that we came together. But I will tell you, it is very clear and was very clear to Lisa and I started within just a few days of talking to each other about the business and then about our lives. From long distance with Lisa in Indiana and me in Arkansas, or her on the road and me here in Arkansas, as we talked, what became very clear to us that it was not just Zalise. As a matter of fact, Zalise wasn't even the primary thing that brought us together. What brought Lisa and I together was an unknown to us common purpose that is much bigger than Zalise. The path that Lisa had walked in her adult life and in her childhood, the things that led her into in her life, the struggles that she had in life, where she was when she came to Zalise, where she's come since, and my own personal path, separate from her, all those years. When we actually started talking, Lisa and I knew that our greater purpose in life was to serve people in a way that created a platform that we ultimately blended our two names together, Harold Elgin and Lisa Doris, and created for ourselves, for our future, kind of an umbrella purpose entity called HELD, Harold Elgin, Lisa Doris, HELD. And so our greater purpose is to create financial opportunity for people who struggle, who need help, especially for Lisa, women who cannot afford certain things in life. And for me, for men whose lives have been devastated by their own decisions and tragedies that have happened to them. I've been working on a book for over 5 years now. Lisa has been working on one as well, her own. And when we meshed those two books, stories together, we could not believe how much those stories didn't match. But when they came together, it brought healing to both of us and for our greater purpose in the world. So I'm sharing that with you tonight from my heart, because Lisa and I, though we do Zalise, it looks like full time, we have other things we're doing, guys. We have other things that feed into HELD. I have some things that are really important to me in my life and my focus, not to meet my Zalise goals, but to meet the greater purpose in the world. And that's to serve a group of men in the world who really don't have anybody speaking into their lives, a very select group of men. And, it's a project for us. And together, Lisa, through her ministry of Flourish, has, I believe, impacted many lives in Indiana and now here and even beyond that. So I'm sharing this with you because I want you to understand that until you have a greater purpose in your life beyond yourself and making money, even bigger than anything you've ever dreamed of, and it's easier to get to diamond than it is for us to fulfill what we want to do with HELD. In the sense of there's a path laid out. There's diamonds who've already reached it ahead of us, and we can learn from them. It's easier for you to hit area because there's been areas go ahead of you. What Lisa and I are doing in our greater vision, we don't know anyone who's done it in the world, frankly. And so I'm just telling you that because I want you to hear our hearts, that our vision is bigger than this message. And we know that we have a bigger message to carry and that will not carry itself beyond Zalise. And so it's a big part of our purpose in the world is to carry a message that will not carry itself. And so I want you to think about that this week. What is your truly greater purpose in the world? And how does the lease fit in that? And if it doesn't fit as far as building a business, then, that's okay. But if you have a greater purpose that you need financial freedom and you need to make money to make it happen, this is the greatest vehicle that I know of that we get to do together to make that greater purpose happen. So I think on Easter, there's not a better time, whether you're a Christian or not, whether you just believe in the cycle of nature and you see it springing up everywhere, it doesn't matter to me. This is a time of coming from the winter of life into the resurrection of spring. It's an opportunity to start fresh. It's an opportunity for us to examine ourselves and examine where we want to go with things in life. And so, I think it's the greatest platform to make other things happen and to build relationships. So anyway, so we talked about it this morning in release, and we just felt, did I cover everything?
I think you did.
Okay.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. So you guys, just so you know where we're coming from, and I wanted to also thank you guys for those of you who are doing Project 500. I think this is going to be a potential life-changing project, and it is not too late to enroll. But also they have set up a website, which is slightly different than what we started with.
Here's some details coming at you.
Details coming at you. Project 500. So here's the website. It's zalease.com/Project 500. There's no hyphen in that. And this actually will start the first week, will be March 21st through the 27th.
Which
That's when we'll start. Do what?
March 27th?
I'm sorry. So what is so March 21st to the 27th?
You're reporting your activity log from that first week. If you have your weekly activity report, you will turn in. Yeah, it's you don't even have to know what day you're in today, but truly that is considered the first week would be March the 21st to the 27th. So we're actually in our second week now. And there's been some confusion about exactly what do you do with your 90-day game plan? What do you do with your activity sheets? So we're going to allow questions here in just a minute, but just so you know, 90-day game plans are for you to actually send to your upline mentor. If your goal is area, you're going to send it to your upline area if they're active. If your goal is regional, send it to your upline regional, because the whole purpose is that somebody who has not hit that rank can't take you there. They haven't hit that rank themselves. So another way of saying it, can I say it a different way? Sure. So if you have an area ambassador above you in your sponsor tree who's actively building, and you know it, you know their name, they're on the calls, that's who you send they're in your sponsor tree. That's who you send that to. Okay. If you don't, you go all the way up, I guess, to us. If you don't have anybody, and there's a number of people we've personally sponsored, and we're their area, regional, national, presidential. That's because we're personally sponsored them. Or they don't have anybody between us and them who has reached area. But if you have an area ambassador above you, that's who you need to send this report to. If you are an area ambassador, regional ambassador, you have a group of people on your team that you're responsible to help lead. And so you should expect to get from them their goals. They can't all come to us. Okay. That's not how the system is. It's a bottleneck, and it's not serving your team. It's not showing leadership. It is you. Now, that is for those of you who are doing the 90-day game plan. For those of you who are not doing the 90-day game plan, the same principle applies. When you have a question, you have somebody you want to show, contact for three-way calls, it's just a principle. You go to your upline area, you go to your upline regional. We're always available, but your first call really is to those who are building the business in your line of sponsorship. And really, it has more to do, this Project 500 has more to do with accountability than coaching, because who is our coach in this whole Project 500? Stephen, right? And that's the beauty. I mean, we're right along with you guys. We're taking notes with everyone else. We're all getting mentored by Stephen. And so he wants to see the activities logged into that Project 500 website. And that's probably the most important part. Yeah. So you send your goal, so your upline knows. Like right now, what we have in right now that we've seen There are like 5 people setting a goal for area that have not reached area, 2 for regional, 2 for national. And we're still waiting on some more to come in from our team. Okay. Some of you other regionals and areas should be receiving, if anyone is on your team that's going for this Project 500. Now, if you don't have anybody on your team that's going for the Project 500 and you're an area or regional, you need to kind of maybe start thinking about why you don't, frankly, why you don't have people in that program. And so that's just a good question. That's self-examination. And that's what I'm talking about for what you want to think about for this week. So there's that. And so that's on the 90-day game plan, but you go to the website to fill out, probably take 3 to 5 minutes each week to fill out your report for your weekly. And they're keeping a log of that with Stephen for your weekly activity report. We don't need those. You don't need to send those to your upline. If you want to talk to them about it, fine. But I'm telling you, it will bog down if everybody is setting appointments for that. It's about accountability and you keeping yourself accountable for the actions that you've committed to. I mean, it's really black and white. If you say you're going to show the plan 5 times a week and that's on your activity log and you've got a bunch of zeros there, it's okay for your upline to know it, but you're the one who needs to be looking at that and saying, oh, I got to change something for next week. All right.
Right. So you guys, shifting gears one more time, I want to welcome our new ambassadors on this call for the first time. And I actually see Jason Smith, who we have had the pleasure of meeting and talking to, he and his beautiful wife, Julie. Jason, are you there? Can you
number 2 on the leaderboard? You're slipping.
Let us just
You're slipping.
Find out how in the heck you get to number 2 on the leaderboard.
He'd be number 1 if Baylor wasn't playing in the national championship.
That's a very important game.
Yes, sure. Yeah.
And tomorrow.
Well, hey guys, tell us.
So welcome to Team Unlimited and welcome.
Whoever got you on this call, was that Bethany or was that Laura?
Both of them. Actually, I think Hal, you might have sent me a text too or something.
Okay.
Well, he gets.
Well, you guys have met. You guys have Bethany involved in your. Laura McClendon, I know that the Todds have been engaged with you. I think the Fergusons may have reached out. And then you've been on pretty much every call we've done. I mean, literally since you joined, which is the way to do it.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time with the Todds. They're great people. And you said somebody else. Who was that?
Fergusons.
Was it the Fergusons?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Maybe so.
So Jason and Julie, just tell us.
On the spot.
I don't know.
Come on.
I know you guys are awesome. Tell us just why Elise for you guys. What's got you excited?
Well, I think for us, like it had CBD has kind of been rolling around our brains for a little bit, and Jason's sister had a lot, just and like us all, have had a pretty stressful year, and she got she started using CBD and pretty regularly and saw just some really good benefits, and not Zelise. And so we were interested, or I was interested in giving it a go. But I think I told some of you guys, like, it's really hard because there's just so much out there and I didn't know what to choose. I didn't know how to pick that. And so when Bethany reached out several weeks ago and said, hey, here's this opportunity and a company, then we felt like, okay, so this is something that's been bouncing around our brains for a little bit. And now we have a company that we could trust and friends that we could trust. And so that's why we were like, okay, now that makes sense. And so, it actually was a pretty easy switch for his sister to say, hey, do you care if, you've been using something, why don't you give this a try? Told her the science of some of the reasons why she should. And she said, well, we did that. Absolutely.
And we did that solubility test with her product and she saw that it all just floated on top. And I said, I don't know if this other product's any better, but it dissolves. You can see the benefit. So, and I think for me, Hal, is the ground floor opportunity. I mean, you're seeing it everywhere. And the few guys that I've talked to over the past couple of days, everybody's heard of it. Some people have sort of said they want to try it, but they don't know what they don't know. And I mean, honestly, I'm still in that. I don't know what I don't know. but I know that when you're on the ground floor of something, it's a good place to be. If you can get other people to join you in that and put in the activity and the work, then it can produce things for your family that can be pretty amazing. So
that's right. Well, and Jason, you guys obviously, Julie, you guys had a great response and a family member with our product, which everybody on this call has experienced multiple times if you've been around very long. But one of the things that I really want everyone to hear what they're both saying is they saw they are seeing and sharing the opportunity. And so that's really, it is a rare opportunity. That's not easy, I will tell you. Early adoption in this industry, and they're in the Bible Belt like we are. And I'm just telling you, it's still very much some pushback on what this is, what it isn't. But we, again, we're back to this message does not carry itself. It needs to be shared. It needs to be explained a bit. There needs to be patience. There needs to be some understanding. You don't have to know all the science, but it is a message we have to carry. It will not carry itself. Unfortunately, here's the other side of that the message that's out there that's carrying itself is just get any CBD you want and try it. And that's just not a good message. And people are trying it and they're not impressed. And so they've walked away from the whole thing. So anyway.
Well, we're super excited to have.
How'd you get to the top of the leaderboard though, Jason? What'd you do? What'd y'all do?
I called a friend and said, give me your credit card number. I think we've got something that might work. And he gave me his credit card number. And then he went for 3 days fishing somewhere. And then everybody else is my family. And I just told them, basically my sister's the one that sold it because they know that she's seen so much benefit. And I said, this product appears to be better. And I want everybody to try it and get kind of this wide range of experience with it to give us stories. Because I don't know, we're pretty healthy people. I understand the science of it, so I should be taking it. But we may not be able to have that story that says, wow, this changed, that changed. But if I've got a wide range of people trying it, then maybe we'll have, some more of those stories. So.
And I want to say real quick, it was the Fergusons. We had a great conversation with them yesterday. I did not know their last name.
Yeah, so I didn't get the last name.
I only knew Dr.
Jim, Dr. Linda.
They don't even have to have a last name. They don't need
a last name.
They're so famous. They just go by first names.
That's right.
But hey, we're so excited you guys are here. Thank you for being on this call.
Yeah, congratulations. Keep it up. So we're
like, woo.
So your goal now is to get your team members on the leaderboard. So that's how it works. Let's get them up there. All right.
Awesome.
Go Bears.
That's right. Sick 'em Bears.
Sick 'em Bears.
Anybody else have questions or comments? You guys, this is a very special holiday, and feel free to share reflections or questions. And then we're going to wrap up earlier just so you guys can enjoy the day with your family.
Hey, you guys, I'm Shelly. I don't want to put my camera on. I'm not looking the best. I got out of the hospital, but I have to say I had my CBD and stuff with me through my surgery and stuff. And I had this skin pain in my skin where the surgical part was. And I actually used the Lachey serum because I didn't have topical with me. I didn't have until Mark brought it. And I immediately I could feel the difference. It actually moisturized that part and it gave me relief. But hallelujah. So I was very medicated, but I did stay up and watch Stephen's Project 500. I said, this is my man. I got to be trained by him. So I'm so touched that he's training us. But when do we put in our numbers for week 2? When I didn't hear that.
Just keep going back to it. We don't know for sure. Just keep going back to
it. Okay. So should I be putting some numbers in?
You can, because there's a drop-down menu. And so if you just go to that site that I gave you, it's ready for you to put numbers in.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
But hey, Shelly, I'm so glad you're well, and thank you for sharing with us about the serum.
And not only that, but after last week's call, a week ago, we got a call from you. Hey, I just showed my first plan and I got an enrollment. So that's so, that's awesome. Congratulations. That's what it takes.
Oh, and shared the information, and I'm with 3 ladies, 3 nurses. One of them had an acne. She said, my zit will not ever go away. And I said, come here. And we used the Lachey product. And before her shift was over, her zit was already getting rid of the redness and clearing up. And
That's
so she's really interested in the business. So I should be able to get her in front of a thingamajig.
All right.
So
That's
also,
awesome.
I'm still medicated. I'm not making sense.
You're good. You're good.
Hey, how Lisa, it's Patty. Can I say
Hey, Patty.
something?
Hey.
Hey, I had no idea I was number 9 on the leaderboard, but obviously it's early in the month, so I want to be in that top 10 at the end of the month. But that's not what I wanted to say. I just wanted to say thank you guys for being faithful with these Sunday night calls. And, how what you said about finding your purpose, that's one of the things, especially as we grow older, we keep asking God, I know the main purpose as a Christian is to bring people to you, but what avenue would you like for me to take? And right now, for me anyway, the Zalise Avenue, because we can help people with so many challenges in their life, the health and the wealth too. And I just think that's so important that, we remember every day why we're doing what we're doing, and not, the money will be there. The money will be there. Real estate all those years, if I help enough people get in homes, the money would be there. And with Zalise, if we help enough people with their lives, the money will be there. So I just so appreciate your mindset, and that I feel like that I'm just on the best team possible.
Oh, thank you, Patty.
Thank you,
And
Patty.
you are on the best team possible.
Patty number 9.
Okay. Anybody? So really quick, there's been a couple of people ask about where you find the 90-day game plan. So you're going to go to resources in your back office and type in under the little search bar, 90-day game plan. That's how I find stuff.
Yeah. And if you can't find it with that, just take it one more step, go to resource site, and there's a search bar. I just type in 90-day. If you're looking for the weekly activity tracker overview, I would just type in weekly and that will come up. So those are forms that you're going to use over and over again. And then Susan Welch asked, what place do we get the form to put our numbers in digital drop down? And Susan, what you're going to do is get the weekly activity overview, put your numbers in, and then you can go to this site that we gave you, and it's the same exact information is reflected.
Where do you find the weekly overview?
Resources, resource site, type in weekly on the search bar and it will come up.
And print it out. And duplicate it.
Right, Kristen?
I know, I'm shaking my head a lot.
That's good. We like
Yes,
it.
yes.
Bobblehead.
And thank you guys to everyone who has submitted their 90-day game plan to us as your upline. We're hanging on to those, but definitely the weekly activities need to be inputted into that weekly tracker online for Stephen. So type in link. Okay. So the link is just our own back office.
So so you go to Zalise.com, go to the cloud login. It's going to ask for your ambassador number and your password. That will open up your back office. There's a search on the search bar. The word resources is there, and you can find it there. If you have the app, it's even simpler, but on the mobile, but if you can't do it, you can't do it. So here's the thing, you guys, we're in business. Okay. This is your business, just like it's our business, and it's your business to know how to get to the back office. It is your business to know how to print off these papers. It's your business to hold yourself accountable, but we've got it one better. Hold yourself accountable, turn that into your upline support. They will also, just by receiving it, affirming it is also accountability. But, I think that we're at a place in all of our businesses, whether you're brand new or been here a while, that personal responsibility and accountability is very, very important as we move forward. Our teams are going to grow. Our team is going to grow. And because of that, our attention is spread even more and has to be. And not only that, but Lisa and I, because we have a greater and higher purpose, even than Zalise, believe it or not. I know you find that hard to believe. We give attention to that. And I don't mean just like in theory. We have, we're writing books. We're having meetings that have nothing to do with Zalise. We're serving literally in our community with trying to help small business development here. So, taking the money, honestly, from Zalise and reinvesting it to create something even bigger, and not about the money. So all of us have a lot going on. And we are at the place where we're just saying to you as our team, capture your own vision, take responsibility, and start doing what you know you got to do to make it happen.
Cultivate your leaders.
Yeah.
Keep your leaders close, guys. There's nothing like the relationship that we have with our team. And that has been developed and cultivated over periods of time. So you guys, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here. And let's see.